when I joined the Army to pay for my university in 1983, we had a month, at the end of the recruit course, we had a month we had to do in the base of Valcartier in Quebec. And it was very difficult. I was wondering, what am I doing here? And there was a club that was called the Kaeble Club. And it was a club, a mess for the corporal and the soldiers. So I went there a lot. And I learned about Kaeble, who he was, and I learned for the first time about the Victoria Cross. And I've always been fascinated by it. I went and checked him out, learned a little bit why he won it and everything. And I would like to share that with you today, okay? He was a very special person. Just before I start, the information I got for him, my sources are, won't be too long, I don't have that many. Veterans Affairs, of course, okay, it's incredible all the stuff you can have there. Dictionnaire bibliographique du Canada, and also I wanted to be like young people and everything. I went on Facebook, and yeah, I know, I've got few friends on Facebook. And there was a site on Facebook that's called la Milice Canadienne Française, and it's pas un site d'extrême droite, c'est the one who is in charge of that site is called Michel Italien, and he's one of the rare French-Canadian military history person. You can hear him on the CBC once in a while and everything. So I thought this site was pretty good, actually. So my information comes from these three sources particularly. Okay, when I did my research on Corporal Kaeble, there are pictures of him, and there's not a lot of pictures of him, but there's a picture where you can see him in full uniform, and he looks like a small kid, actually. When I'll tell you what that guy did, and when you look at the picture, it doesn't go together. I had an activity in class when I put his picture on my what do you call that, tableau interactif, active board, smart board, and I asked my class, what do you think of that guy? What do you think he did and everything? Nobody was even close, okay, because you look at his face, it's impossible he did these things. Anyway, when I started teaching, when we arrived, the first year I taught, and we arrived at the Remembrance Day, I was wondering, what will I do with my students? I had to do a special activity, because in Quebec we don't do real special activities on Remembrance Day. But I said I should do something special, and I decided to do it on the Victoria Cross. In Quebec, I don't know in the rest of Canada, but in Quebec we have no idea what is a Victoria Cross, and I think we should. So I give them a special course on that, and generally, maybe they are polite, but they all say they love that course, okay? And anyway, so it's history. Well, he's born in Saint-Moïse in Quebec, in Gaspésie, okay? And his father died when he was pretty young, so they still stay in Gaspésie, but they changed the village. They went to Sayabec, okay? And it's in the valley of la Matapédia, it's near in the Gaspésie. And when the war, he was somebody when he was young. He loved soldiers, he sculpted them in wood, and when the war arrived, he would have liked to go. Like a lot of young ones in Quebec, at the beginning of the war, we thought, when you were young, that you would get paid to go in France, which was, when you were poor, impossible at the time, and everybody thought that the war would maybe last, what, 2-3 months? So you just get there, it finishes, and you're in Europe. Okay, so there's a lot of guys of Quebec that decided to go to the war, but not Kaeble. He would have loved to, but he had to take care of his family. So he stayed there, and he was working in a mine. He was a mechanic in the mines, if I remember. But in 1916, when they needed more men, well, there was a recruiting officer that went to his village of Sayabec, and he thought, to Kaeble and he said, well, why don't you come with us? And the only thing Kaeble wanted to know is, if I go, can I give a part of my salary to my family? And if I die, what happens? And they explained to him that if you die, your family will have compensation and everything. So he decided to go. I've read that the recruiting officer thought that he could have at least in 1916 100 men to go with him, and finally he only had 10, okay, for the whole region of Gaspésie, and one of them was Kaeble. It was worth it though. So he went to England. He did his recruit course in Valcartier. He went to England, and when he was in England, they transferred him to the 22nd Battalion, because the 22nd Battalion, after the Battle of Courcelette, they needed more men. So, like we were told, he was transferred to the 22nd. And then we don't know exactly what he did. We only know that he participated a lot, okay, to all the major battles after Courcelette. He went at the Vimy Ridge. He was there, and after Vimy Ridge, he got. They didn't say if he got shot, but he got an injury in his shoulder. So he was brought back to the hospital in Bologne, which we just heard, and he stayed 25 days there. And what's interesting, he could read and write. So he write a lot, and it seems he had lots of girlfriends in Quebec, because he wrote to more than 10 girls, and there was his sister, okay? And every time he was writing, he was always optimistic about it and saying that he had fun, there wasn't any problem, he wasn't really scared. And it's really strange. It's only to his sister, one of his letters that dates from the 25th, no. In one of the, oh, anyway, it's not. In one of his letters at the end, he says he wasn't stupid with all the wars he did and all the battles he fought in, Île-Sévigné also. He says that I'm only afraid of one thing, and it's God. Okay, so we think that with what he said there, he knew that it could happen to him, and maybe it would happen. So the war continues. On the 25th, he was a machine gun operator. Okay, the Lewis machine gun that you could take and walk with it. I've got the end of his letter there. Okay, he says in French, je demande tous les jours à Dieu de pouvoir nous revoir, ce qui ne n'empêche pas de faire mon devoir au front. Il ne faut avoir peur que du bon Dieu. Ici, on n'a peur de rien à part de Dieu. So he says, that's it. You can only be afraid of God. In Quebec, we were really God-fearing people. And on the night of the 28th of May 1918, he decided to be a volontaire. How do you say that in English? A volunteer. Yeah, a volunteer. And to go attack the Germans with grenades. So he had grenades in both hands, and he threw them at the Germans. And it seems a lot of courage. So they gave him the military medal. Okay, he won the military medal for that, but we don't know much more about this one. But 12 days later, when he was entrenched in this region, on the 8th of June 1918, at night, at 2145 minutes, they received all day long artillery barrage. Him and his section of mitrailleurs, at night he was the only one still alive or who could still shoot something. And 50 Germans, okay, came on his position. And he decided, since he was the only one that could fight, he decided to get out of the trench with his Lewis machine gun, and he'd start shooting on the 50 Germans coming in front of him, trying to save his companions, that most of them saw what he did, and sure that the German, they start shooting on him. They shot on him so much that he had to fall down because he had too many bullet wounds? Yeah, bullet wounds in his leg. But still, he was still sitting down. He was shooting again and always changing in starters. It seems that the Germans were starting to hesitate because they were wondering, what the hell is this? And he received a bullet in the shoulder, so he fell back in his trench. And everybody thought he was dead, but he'd start screaming, "We have to continue, because if we do not, then the German will take our position and everything." So he crawled back out with his Lewis and he'd start shooting again. And then it's the German that got scared and they ran and they got back into their and Kaeble was screaming in French, where is it? Oh my God, I know what that is. Anyway, it's something like, ne lâchez pas, okay, faut absolument empêcher les Allemands de rentrer dans la tranchée. And when he saw that the Germans were leaving, he just lost conscious. And he died the day after of his wounds, of course, and they decided to give him the Victoria Cross. So he received the Military Cross, and 12 days later, he did his action to receive the Victoria Cross, which is very rare. It's the greatest medal, or the highest medal you can have for courage in the Commonwealth. Okay, not only in Canada, in the Commonwealth. And there's a lot of Canadian soldiers who received it, but we don't know necessarily their history or anything like that. The first time Canada received the Victoria Cross, it was in the Boers War. Okay? And that's why when you receive a Victoria Cross, well, the cross is on your stele, okay, which is different. And now, they say in French, they receive à titre posthume pour la bravoure exceptionnelle dont il a fait preuve les 8 et 9 juin 1918, la Croix de Victoria. And now, in French, I have a poem for you, because I've read that we could do a poem. I didn't do it, so you're all right, okay? It's a poem from Arthur Rimbaud. It's a great author, French author of the 19th century. And there's a poem from him that I like very much. And I think it's a beautiful place just to say it. Just the sun is missing, but anyway, I'll go with it. It's called Le Dormeur du Val. If you don't know what it is, it means the ones who sleep in a valley or in a vale. And it's about somebody who sleeps, of course, and at the end of the poem, it's only at the end that you realize that it's a soldier and he's dead. Okay? So I'll read it to you. C'est un trou de verdure où chante une rivière, accrochant follement aux herbes des haillons d'argent, où le soleil de la montagne fière, lui, c'est un petit val qui mousse de rayons. Un soldat jeune, bouche ouverte, tête nue, et la nuque baignant dans les frais cressons bleus, dort. Il est étendu dans l'herbe, sous la nue, pâle dans son hiver où la lumière pleut. Les pieds dans les glaïeuls, il dort, souriant comme sourirait un enfant malade. Il fait un somme. Nature, berce-le chaudement. Il a froid. Les parfums ne font pas frissonner sa narine. Il dort dans le soleil, la main sur la poitrine, tranquille. Il a 2 trous rouges au côté droit. And I would like to finish with a citation from the London Gazette of September 16, 1918, that wrote about him. They said the complete repulse of the enemy attack at this point was due to the remarkable personal bravery and self-sacrifice of this gallant non-commissioned officer, who died of his wounds shortly afterwards. Thank you.